Hello. Oh no. Are we? There we go. We're up now. After some technical difficulties. Whatever. But so this is what we're working with. Everything should be fine. Cool. We're just gonna get through some reading on this because I can't sleep. It's too hot and the fan's loud. So it sounds like it's ideal situation. So yeah, I haven't been reading this for a minute, but oh well. It's the same story. I put the book description, like the link to the book in the description, in case anybody wants to just read it. And yeah, that'll be good. Ew. So the cafe walls dribbled with waxen browns coming down in licks. Faces are glowing colors: vermilion, teal, mandarin, bops flowing in the clothing. They wait in a line that seems to go on forever. I sweat in my chair. I've been writing a lot recently, not a normal habit. Words appear in the droplets going down the walls. People chat, no one talks at me. So easy to be forgotten in basements off Woodward. My hands hundle around a mocha. My notebook light spread open, sketches of trees and woman's legs intertwined with words that pile up. Yeah, that water went down wrong. Reading through it as the visuals flick and twist. Words had passed the subconscious. I see myself as an I don't know what the fuck I was talking about with the Woodward basement. I don't know what the what fucking cafe? I think nah man, I don't know what the fuck. We might need to change that goddamn line, but whatever. The space of the world opens up before me. I'm in a doorway or in a tunnel of door frames. Around me is purple and blue space. Twirl I guess Kresge. Twirling cosmic and electric furry. Walking through the tunnel, my skin starts to shift. My breasts flatten, then become huge, then flatten again. I grow and shrink, the tunnel full of light, so there's always a halo around your vision, preventing you from seeing the depth perfectly. I fit perfectly. I walked and changed and became whatever. Whatever was everything. All ancestors, some animals, whirling change. I see us as an extension of everything. We are all eternal. We are all the same mass as each other and as our ancestors. Every second inherits the last. Around me, everybody lived. Couples met up and talked with shoulders hunched forward. Professionals kept their nose buried in the laptop computers while perched in front of windows. They typed to always intuit prime real estate. I shuddered in my place, not with my body, but with my perspective. I think I was talking about the bottom line. But that's closed now, so fuck. I shuddered in my place, not with my body, but with my perspective. Sometimes to the right, sometimes to the left. Scrolling through this morning, it started as a light blue and faded into a crisp gray. My beanie helped me keep touch with where I was. I always think about reading more, can never manage to do it. It's great to do, but it's only a book here and there when it grabs me. I guess I read more as a kid, but I think that's like eating a bunch of something to see if you like it or not. You have to binge before you see if you have a taste for it. It's true of all art. It's masochistic. You just have to want to listen to be bothered long enough for something worthwhile. Oh, that's fucking lit. Okay, okay, okay. I'm proud of that. Proud of that one. Yep. Uh, so I just have some European books, and that's about it. Yeah, Dad likes the Russians. I stole some, but I've just read the French stuff, which I'm not even sure I liked. Flaubert was technically correct. It was a novel, sweet, perfect in a few ways, but Dad was on to something when he talked about the presence of the Russian. They're almost street. Russian lit is the gangster rap of classic lit. They have no chill, but life doesn't either. So I just think they're correct. Your teeth rot out. Everyone is a drunk. The winter might kill, and good luck affording to move somewhere hospitable, or at least making it to 70. A bit tiring to read. You end up actually wanting to kill yourself, but also the best read because it makes you feel like it's actually looking at the same thing the rest of us are. Yeah. I like Belly though, a pseudo Franco born from Russian soil. a foreigner of the city who wrote a book titled Petersburg. Utterly beautiful poetry to read. Nothing like the blood pushed by beating hearts, which Dostoevsky sculpted in Petersburg, but absolutely more readable. Where Dostoevsky mourns the fate of his fellow Russian, doomed to the immortal conversations he captured, Belly laughs at them, thinking of everything half-jokingly, writing a book for society, not scrawling bricks of book fresh out of prison. Belly's Petersburg leaves one with the feeling of having listened to a Russian who did not wish to be so, which makes him relatable to most of us, I suppose. Sketches and words, plans to do. Constructing a scene using the Fisher Building over New Center as the shadow of downtown, looming while threatening to dig as far as its shadow extends, trying to line it up with the plane of the queue line. When I extend the thread of the core, the reversal of public transit, bringing the threat of suburban workers in need of a more convenient place to stay, of landlords that want more courses to serve, instead of the packs of unoccupied and uneducated who are supposed to be on board. Nothing ever feels done. The city has been growing for years now, becoming pregnant with property value and nomadic peoples who replace each other as the trends ride. North End has a few businesses, but still abandoned houses with yards touching houses where 3 generations live together. Paintings are imperfect. Growth is too. Every canvas ages with the decay that neighborhoods do. Wabi-sabi teeths upon all things. Teeths. Right? Teeths? No. Fuck no. I love when I just reveal how bad I am. Okay, sounds like a word, isn't it? Teeths. Teeths. I don't want to deal with all of that, but yes, my search results are my search results. The last thing I looked up was the effect that cannabis has on teenage brains, because this is for a different podcast, but there's a study that like basically shows through 1,000 analyses of neuroimaging, just brain shit, that like basically all of the stuff that says like, oh my god, teenage cannabis use is basically just fucking teenage alcohol use, because like it'll fuck your brain up real bad, real quick. Anyways, irrelevant. Growth is too. Every canvas ages with the decay that neighborhoods do. Wabi-sabi teethes upon all things. When it sets, you see the imperfection of jobs that can never be complete. Millimeters of paint missing. Walls that refuse to flatten without demolition. Boards that have been too abused to seem new. Paint sits with cracks in the color. Things that bleed out instead of true. Lines that bulk under the weight they carry. Wow, I'm sick. Flecks that form like dust was caught within it. How to move forward with the painting? There is no such thing. Currently 4 pieces hang in my studio. A study of the cube passing by inches away from the viewer's face. A study of the diet, featuring a woman with a parasol under a Pissarro-esque tree, which leaps from the lapping side. A series of scenes from Eastern Market during the book festival, the farmer's market, at night, and on Saturday, and the second portrait of my father. A piece I made too delicate. A piece I made much too delicate and pale. His eyes look like lighthouses. They're all in various level of complete, most of them a finished first layer with obsessive touching up to do over time. Some with white patches that still have potential to melt. Even the pieces sold that hang on the walls have touch-ups I'd like to do. There's no end to it. Even the pieces sold that hang on walls have touch-ups I'd like to do. There's no end to it. Okay, I like that. It's just like, Jesus Christ, the pacing of that sentence is a headache a little bit. And the grays eat into the piece, especially the self-proclaimed art connoisseurs who insist on having the least lit rooms in society. Instead of showing off their taste proudly with lighting that displays the works they purchase at a high price, they prefer to let a guest squint through the room, hand visored over eyes. Then, as they struggle to make out the shape and cage of the rectangle above their fireplace, their soft men love to break in with a prepared little speech about the piece. I've noticed the piece has been finding your attention, they'd say softly. It's actually a gem of mine, a fine display of corporeal expressionism that is feeling given for. Is that the resting place painters imagine for their work? Is it where they imagine those weeks going? Maybe a better question would be, what does $50,000 or $500,000 say? Who is to refuse that? Half a house earned from a brush. Wait, we got the right. All right, no, we need to get this cleaner. So we're gonna just scoot this down, scoot it up, scoot it up. Oh god, that was so bad, doesn't it? I'll make it work, right? Okay, let's just give a little bit of that. Oh, that looks good. Yeah. I'm a little bit of story here that's going on. Lots of psychedelic fucking bookmarks there. Cool. That looks clean. Yeah. Oh, I just poked myself in the fucking eye. Nice. Oh. So finished, never sold on name. Lewandowski's becoming worth something, especially considering the name on quite a few buildings out this way. The Hamtramck market could supply me for a lifetime. Isn't that enough? Does a book need to be done or published? Are we writing for gods or the public? Are they one or nothing? Do I paint for the sketches or the checks? My phone screen lights up. Christian's name. Inane words about chivalry and relationships. I sip my tea and forget it. Study some of Rembrandt's portraiture in browser. Get floored by his mastery of brown and gray. Swimming around dusty themes in low-lit rooms while remaining triumphantly visceral and intimate. Feelings with no inappropriate or gaudy trappings. More mugs than curios, yet so immediate. More real than a photograph. Most of us have to be afraid of gray, understanding that it will eat its way down the paint, muddying scenes, but Rembrandt composed him out of it, sculpting marble out of mud. Sculpting marble from mud. Right? I know it sounds better as we're going. Oh, yeah, are we writing for gods or the public? I mean, like, it should be the gods or the public, because, like, that would be, like, you know, fit, but, like, I also like the implication that it's, like, whatever gods, but, because, again, you know, like, what is that, $500,000? It's half a house for a fucking brush. Does a book need to be done to be public? Yeah, this is a good, yeah, man, I need to take my own fucking medicine. I just miss you so much. Where are you? Need you. Another text read. My hand found my cigarettes. I stopped before pulling one out. I looked up Lyser's, stared past the religion into its colors, melted from paintings that calmed the mind by bringing it home into colors so vivid and strong it smells of ecstatic orgies. Dad said Nietzsche cut the word into Bacchic and Apolline. Birth of tragedy, also, in case anybody's here. Rembrandt and Lyser's, the same relationship. His paintings formed into masses on my screen. The flesh was lost under clothing. Blobs of pink and blue flushed the screen, then rised into purple, decayed into greens. A sea of faces so serious, the tones that pop art would kill for. I looked up at the cafe and felt my eyes get bored. Wide windows, huge like a warehouse door, wood without the color of craftsmanship, reclaimed. Not stolen? Not from owners, but from history. From the graveyard. Are these new things not built from bone? And all other things, they came from what? The Renaissance was a rebirth, but really a second helping of the antique. Our fashion today is street. Cannibalization of the 2000s. The collapse from the brands in the 90s into the thrift shops on the edges of suburban jurisdiction. We do not make, we steal, always. To be original is to set a new game, and that leads to more trouble than it's worth. Better to understand who everybody praises. Learn from them. Learn the language. The language of paint and the language of the painter. Two distinct things. One everyone must bargain with, some making amends, some taking liberties. Another a personal journey that the individual must define. The balance between the two is crucial and rare. Yeah, Karaki, and found the stagnation of your religion, of your region. Be Van Gogh and drown of dreams no other person could dare to define until your work shined over a body free of life. What am I to do? My best or what I love? That's what Americans say. That's our answer. But I end up in the middle, like all of us, painting portraits of vacations and pets, scenes of the city, the favorite items, the gift of the premature coroning used for mementos. What is it to misuse or misappropriate talent? Above all, practice. Past that, contribute with what you can get away with. And what do I want to translate with my touch? A world fading as we touch it, a life lost as we live. We see things and grab onto them in our mind, conceiving of them as solid. What do I want to translate with my touch? Okay, I think I got a little bit lost here. Contribute with what you can get away with. And what do I want to translate with my touch? A world fading as we touch it, a life lost as we live. We see things and grab onto them in our mind, conceiving of them as solid, not realizing that everything deteriorates. All things have so many spins in this atmosphere. There is no beginning without end. Rome was founded to fall. All these battle cries attempt to revitalize and continue, but the graveyard can only grow. The woman looks around for a place to sit. She has a handbag and a coat with a fur collar, brown hair, small features, emotion are over. Can I take this seat? She asked. That's a question mark, bud. I nod and clear the table, putting my notebook in the corner. Thanks, she said, then sat down, letting the bag fall to the side. I continued on my phone. Sketches of Rembrandt always find their way to me more than his paintings. Mom said that none of his paintings were his touch. Some were finished by his school, or wasn't most. His drawings, though, seem unquestionable. Pieces that reek of thought and mood. Line work without shading that boom with atmosphere. They animated under the effects of the acid. Arms flowing and legs danced. Figures talked and shouted stanzas. The woman pulled out a stapled packet. On top of it was some title with the word policy. What's your name? She asked me, taking out a pen. So, like, am I, like, stylistically not using the fucking... I gotta say stylistic. I don't know. What are you doing? What's your name? She asked me, taking out a pen. My name is Joan, and yours? I replied, staring at my phone. Anne, she said. Pleased to meet you, Joan. She extended the hand out. I watched it for a few seconds without changing my posture, then reached out and gave her a shake. Her hands were soft and delicate, cold from the weather, warm in her blood. Nice mist there, dude. Likewise, I replied. Are you reading that for fun or study? She laughed and then a little and sipped her coffee. A bit of both. It's my job. I work with a company to see what's going on in the city. Do you find it fascinating? I asked. Very, she said. It's a realization of politics, putting into place what everyone thinks are talking points. Interesting, I said. The construction of what you can get away with. Exactly, she replied. Respecting the laws and understanding why we have the limits that we do. We're trying to find things we can implement with the least amount of pushback or resistance. How to grow the city in line with its wishes. Including the conservatives, I asked. She laughed. There are no conservatives in Detroit City. They fled to Macomb and downriver a long time ago. Pontiac is who listens to those assholes. I smiled. Right. I forgot. Luckily, we don't have to deal with them. And you? What do you do? She asked. Are you in school? She motioned to my notebook. CSS? No, I relied. I replied. No school, but I'm a painter, so I'm an art student. I have to study for everything, even if there is no grade. That's true. She laughed again with a socialite laugh, a northern affectation. But a painter? That's exciting. Have you shared any of your work? I sold a few, I replied. That's so exciting, she said. Most of my friends who graduated are still finding it difficult to find a place within a scene. Yeah, I replied. I don't know how I feel about it. Money is money, and that's what you get for working, but art has rarely been work for me, so... Isn't that how most creatives feel? She asked, blowing on her tea. I don't know, I replied. I'm just me. My eyes dropped back to my phone. I went on to the anime forum and checked paranormal again to see if there was anything about sigils. Nothing new. Just people wanting to summon succubi and protection spells against everything. So what are you studying now? She asked. I looked up and took my hand from resting against the bottom of my hand. Nothing. So we're going with that. Everything, I replied. At least everything that I understand. Right now I'm trying to further the grasp of color and how to plan with it, like how you sketch before painting something. Perhaps there's a better process than mixing colors on a palette to work with the composition of color. Maybe I need to make more studies. I really haven't let myself dip as far into abstract expressionism as I'd like to. Always too afraid nothing would sell. And the worst thing is when pieces crowd you in your own studio. When I go through those seasons, I tend to burn them. Oh, she gasped. You burn them? Why not donate them? It's very interesting, and I assume cathartic, but why lose so much work? Death in return, I mumbled. What? She asked. Death in return, I confirmed. Oh, she said. That almost sounds spiritual. I stared at her, and then let my eyes drop to her chest, fondling the woman's supple 30 to 40-year-old form in my eyes, and dragged my eyes back up. She was blushing and quiet. It's something, I said. It's something. That's how life goes. You gotta make something, or else waste time and grow old without anything happening. I ran my hands along my sides until I found my pack of cigarettes. I pulled one out and left it between my lips. Belief is weird. I really prefer to live, to take action, to be a part of the process. Shed ego, become samsara, become maya. Shred ego, become samsara, become maya. What? Anne asked. Are those English? No, I replied, packing my stuff into my coat pockets. They're not. They're Hindi concepts, but all things for all people. Translation is a matter of patience. I lifted Dad's coat from under me and threw it over the rest of my outfit, and then shimmied back into it. What I mean is that we live. It's the fate of a soul, samsara, a cycle that cannot be escaped. Maya, a world that we replace them. I corrected my ear under my beanie. So, as we exist, or seem to, I choose to listen to the realities of life and illusion, and try to fulfill my role in both. The other option seems to try to escape it, to think about life, to build utopias and reality. The other option seems to try to escape it, to think about life, to build utopias of morality and dreams, but I have no interest in that. It seems to be ego to me. I want to die well. I want to die well. I think I want to die well works better there. I don't really want it. Oh, she said. I can follow some of you, what you mean. I like it. She held her coffee and explored the top of her eyes for a few seconds. Like we should be living for the process of living, not for what we think about it. Do what we're doing to do it, not because of how we think it looks or because we have to. Yeah, roughly, I said, standing up, coffee in hand. It's about being part of the motion, not the mechanism. Present, not available. Alive instead of usable. Hard to explain, but the body knows. Listen to it. Right, she said. Reincarnation. The wisdom of 1,000 souls in a body. One only has to ask and listen. What the fuck? Oh, there we go. And then all will be revealed. All will be revealed. I'm not tired. Uh-huh, I replied. And listen, it's been great. Have a wonderful day, Anne. Nice to meet you. Oh, it's so nice to meet you too, John, Anne said, trying to get up as I walked past. She was perched to get up, probably to offer a handshake or a hug. But I didn't want any of that. I wanted to go. She had bored me enough. The visuals had toned down to mere fuzz on everything, just a vibrant glow on all surfaces and in all reflections. Outside, freezing. It's Detroit, of course. I lit my cigarette and felt like food. My muscles relaxed and my stomach felt easy. The streets were empty. Only parking was taken up. Even then, there were a few spaces. In winter, the city breathes better. The abandoned properties could be written off as a case of inappropriate timing. The lack of population could be explained by people staying indoors, and the car crashes were from ice, not untrained drivers, many without licenses. Snow fell in a lazy shower, balls of it that wouldn't stick or form into anything, that just flaked around as a trick, reminding you that the cold wasn't a joke, and snow or no, it remained freezing. I took out my phone and dialed Brian. Both in my breath and the smoke formed clouds, hard to distinguish them apart. Ended up a little lightheaded from the breaths I let go on too long. He picked up on the third ring. Joni, what up, though? He shouted. Not much, I replied. Where you at? He asked, and the lower voice continued. Are you outside? Are you outside? Yeah, I replied. I'm outside. Where at? Okay, we're gonna do bottom line. Okay, so 1923 is funny, but I don't think it fits in anything, so we're just gonna go bottom line. I'm pretty sure that was it, yeah. So, yeah, okay, I'll be there in 10. Get inside. Until then. Okay, thanks. I replied. Love you, Brian said. Love you too. I said, bye. I heard his car door close before he hung up. For a while, I just stood there, wondering about what was going to happen. Foot in front of foot, foot in front of foot. I looked up. I was in the middle of the street. I played some music from my phone, Hands by Father. Look at that. That deserves a little title. Without any sort of fear, a car approached me and I ducked out of the way, giving them enough inches to pass by without hitting me. The faces of drivers were focused, attentive, but not surprised, not here. What's news elsewhere is noise here. I ran my finger along the van as it passed, spun and hit the window of a bus that was driving past, staring at the passengers as they looked terrified. Yeah, she's a little psychotic, isn't she? Let's just look that up. Bottom line, Detroit. That was 3rd Street. So, cool. Let's just go to that Woodward. Hey, buddy. No. No. Give me the first one. That's not the one we want. Is this the one we want? No, that's not the one we want. Not the one we want. Yeah. 3rd Street. Cool. So now it's just the bottom line, which I'm pretty sure is closed, but oh well. So now we're done that part. I'm happy with this so far. I don't even know how much I want to edit it. Maybe just add some stuff. I think it's just basically going to be additional stuff because I'm pretty happy with how this fucking character came out. I mean, I don't know. I just I enjoy her. I like the whole, I think she's funny. I also think it is a good discussion of just a lot of general things. It's a pseudo-philosophical novel, if you will. Of course, cigarette or, joints coming out. Yeah, she's funny. I think she's likable. I'm pretty happy with how this is shaping up to be in his book. I get caught in editing hell, man. I don't know about you guys, but I've been I'll edit the same fucking book for 5 years. It's crazy. I'm also just I want to get these ideas out. That's what I'm also doing this live stream for. Is fuck it, man, just get it out there. I gotta put your flag down. So let's just go back right into it. What was your plan for this trip? Brian asked me. I curled my feet up into the dashboard and curled up into the center console. He patted my head, playing with my hair. Or were you just going at it free? He asked. Going at it free, I replied, twisting so that my neck and back were supported by the car. Going at it free, what's the plan to me? Brian laughed, then pulled the ashtray out from under the CD player. There was a half-finished joint. He pulled it out and lit it. Oh, I got that. Well, now you got a babysitter, so it'll be alright. The light was still in its midday haze, that unavoidable gray which can precipitate or not according to its own ways. The fuzzy carpet lining of the van matched the tone. They swirled together to make everything feel inside. Detroit is funny that way in general, though. It's hard to find outside. The low-hanging fog, the endless wreckage where property and structures are mixed in with decay and city claims. Inside? Outside? Or just the city? What are we going to do? I asked, my words stumbling out of rhythm. What's the future? Well, Brian said, that one's to start a business. Yeah? I asked. Doing what? Stuff, you know. So we're just gonna make this sound like how people talk. A restaurant, probably. Maybe a supply store, contracting, real estate. Jesus. Something that actually makes money. Something that supplies what people need. Your music is what people need, I said, then hit his arm. Your music, Don't hit me while I'm driving, Brian said. I started to stroke his arm on both sides instead. Oh, I said quietly, your music is what people made. It's good, it's about life, and it's real. Thanks, Joni, Brian laughed. Thanks, that means a lot. But Matt wants to move out of Downriver, so we're trying to find a way to do that, make some change, get a place, all that. Can't stay with your mom? I asked. You can't, but we don't want to do it that way, Brian replied. I don't want to put all that on my mom, you know. We pulled up to his mom's house, a rectangle base with a side porch and blue accents. He turned off the car and then came over to my side. The day outside looked all together, like the mailbox was closest to the horizon. The cars going away and cars coming towards us looked as if they shared a plane. At the same time, forever. The road went on to infinity. The horizon was the end of the world. The sky was a sea. More than that. With reluctance, I ventured with my foot to find the concrete, then the other. As my legs began to take weight, they buckled. I fell forward into Brian's arms. He laughed. Still going at it? He asked as he helped me find my balance. Yeah, going through it. I replied as colors of more punch than pure white blasted through my eyes and into my skull, flowing into me like slow, reflective rivers, more oil than water. The screech of old electronics welcomed us as we made our way into the basement. 5 of the TVs were on, two playing movies with Tupac, one for the news, another one a retrospective of psychedelics in America, the final one the gaming setup. Matt sat in the middle of the console mess, ashtray on one side, controller on the other. He was a foot or two away from the TV, consumed in activities that shone the colors of summer and the ocean onto his face. Between his lips, the fat joint hung, gone out due to his lack of attention to it. Yeah, can't be that guy, dude. What was I thinking? Oh yeah, I could put a description on this. Veering back from What up, doe? Brian called out to Matt, finding his way over a pile of notes in his guitar. Not much, Matt replied. How's Joni? He asked, shooting a look over at me for a second before his eyes flicked back on the screen. I'm fine, I replied. I'm good. You look high, Matt said. You too, I returned. Yeah? So? Matt asked. At least I shared what I got. You guys want to drop? I asked. Yeah, Brian replied, leaving. See, we got these are difficult. They're difficult leaving through this pile of paper. Of course you want to drop. What is this, middle school? No, I have dance class. I'm busy. Don't you guys have class tomorrow? It's Thursday, I asked while fishing through my coat. My fingers crinkly ran along my father's copy of Dead Souls by Gogol. Don't you have detention tomorrow? Brian asked. And hey, Matt, pass that. Huh? Matt replied. The joint, Brian clarified, then clapped. Oh, shit, yeah, Matt said. He threw the joint across the room over to Brian. It landed in the papers. Thanks, Brian said, and lit up. I've been thinking about just saying fuck it, I admitted, fingering the seal of my beanie. What? Brian asked. Just fuck it, I said, letting my arms drop. Like, what are they going to do to me? Why do I need to go? All I want to do is be part of the team because I miss my girls, but past that, fuck it. What's the point? They're not going to give me a degree. They don't give a fuck about me, so what's the point in finishing this semester? Worst comes to worst, I'll just restart at the beginning of the year somewhere else. Just send in what I entered this year with. True, in a lot of places you don't even need that much, Brian said. You can get into college right now with what you have, especially if you're paying. Schools would kill for you. Yeah, Matt said. If you're paying, schools let you do anything. There are some porn stars in college right now, and the schools don't even care. I follow a few. The grades aren't great, but oh my god. Yeah, I hate that though. I replied, the last thing I want to be is money. I want to deserve what I get, earn it, be it. I took the book out and turned it to the pages with a tinfoil. It's so stupid that you can pay for certifications here. I want to earn them. That's what work is for, Brian said, and then passed the joint to me. That's not what college is for. College is where you go to make connections and socialize. It's a game of elbows, talent, ability. All that's outside. That's follow through. Is that one word? Yeah, Matt said. There's nothing there but network growth. We have to go there to find investors, but you've already got a market, so just continue to refine that and work on maintaining a connection with your audience. Thanks, fam, I replied, rolling my eyes. So do you guys want these tabs? I unrolled the foil, revealing 4 hits dropped on purple and green paper. Flowers blossomed onto the corners into yellow and orange highlights. Yeah, Matt said, finally ripping himself away from the game and sauntering over to me. Brian came over too, more sluggishly. He used a hand on his knee to pull his weight up before approaching the book. The paper's grip was firm as I held it between my fingers, like it was biting back. I ripped the column in half, and dropped one back on the foil. The seam undid a flower halfway, leaving a blossom on the upper half of the split, the stalk cut off on the other. I took the one with more flowers and split that again, then handed one tab to Matt, one to Brian. You boys be careful now. The stuff's no joke, I warned, tisking. Yeah, Matt said, placing the tab on his tongue. Like we haven't been here before. I gave him the joint, then he slunked back over to the console and popped down. Where's it from? Brian asked, taking the tab before I could say anything. Got a connection in the city, I replied. Traded a piece for it. What piece? For how much? Brian asked. I wanted downtown melting into the purple highlights of dead winter nights, I replied. And I scored 30 for it, but I'm just stashing it at home. Fuck, do you want to do a double dose? Matt asked. I split the columns again, this time leaving a tab with nothing but vines. I'm about to, I replied. Then took the ones with only purple, green, and the orange glow from a flower off scene. You undersold it, Brian replied, turning his attention back to his paper. The art is worth way more than that. That's just the $300 deal. So what do you know about how much my art is worth, I asked. I know you're talented and an original artist, one of the 1% of people in this metro that actually practice their pursuits on a daily basis. I know you're driven and consistent, working within the city for years, and as an artist since you could. I know you're worth a lot, he replied, then took the joint. Thanks, Brian. Really. It means the world, but that's not how the work works, I said. Educate me, he answered. It's a game of names, I said. Merit doesn't matter. I wish it was that simple, that you just had to do great works to get recognized, but that's not even true in carpentry. Everything in life is a game of who you know, where you're from, what you're made of. There's no appreciation for things how they are. That's a lie. You get in through who you know, not who you've been. That's bullshit, Brian replied. Kids that haven't even smoked weed don't sit outside of venues in the rain for 2 hours because the art is playing no some people. They do it because their forms ring true, because their art is capable of going past themselves. They do it because they're good. He French inhaled. And even if it's one way or the other, you're in luck. You're Lewandowski. You belong to the city, and your father paved the way for too many artists to name. I don't want to be that either, I replied. I don't want to just be my father's daughter. Dad gave me so much and carried me throughout so much. I want my own feet. I don't want to rely on anything anymore other than my own achievements. Then don't, Brian replied. Don't, and say fuck it to all that you just said and just be good. You're an amazing painter. You've been doing this for years. Commit to that. Double down. Find yourself in it and realize who you are, who you can be. Stop being so tepid. Stop being so afraid. Start being brave and show us what you see. Show us what potentials can be. That's what artists do, and that's how they gain the respect and attention of the people. If it doesn't work that way, fuck it. It's punk to think of it this way, and I'd rather be beloved and wrong than alone and right. I'll also stand by that one. I'd rather be beloved and wrong than alone and right. Ooh. Huh, I replied. There's a lot there, but I'm listening. I don't know if I'd rather abandon the truth so that I don't have to be alone, but I'd rather be understood and correct. This is so difficult. Yeah, it is. It's the essence of art, Brian said. Sounds like some redacted shit to me, Matt replied. I hit things and people dig it. That's what I know and that's what I figured out. He didn't look up from the game. Brian passed me the joint with a smirk. But who knows? No one knows, Joan. Art is art is art. It's this from that angle, that from this one, that to them, this to us. Who knows what's wrong or right or holy or whatever. I think the best thing is just to give your spirit completely, which I've seen you do. You've starved for this. Now let other people share it with you. said. Thanks, Brian, I replied. There's still a blush hanging in my cheeks. Thanks. I don't know why I feel like there's more of an answer than that. Like there's more to figure out, but I'm with it. I appreciate you. We're kids on acid, he replied, passing the joint to me. I think passing me works. Of course we think there's more. Everyone's bigger than us, and they seem so sure. But the secret is everybody was where we were. And one day we'll be them. No one knows a goddamn thing. That's the way it's been since the beginning. No one knows a goddamn thing, Matt echoed, then dropped the controller. And that's where we come in. With our business. What we're gonna do. Matt, my point was that there's kind of no mastering this stuff, but we can try anyways. What kind of business are you thinking now? Brian asked. The joint has gone out. I'm thinking we do some real work, Matt said. We're gonna go into some lots that have been nothing. We gut them, and we finish them just like shop. We do a good amount of work to make them worth living in, and then pass them off. So you're thinking about flipping houses? Well, yeah, Matt replied. It's not the worst idea, I said. You guys can make some change, and then turn that into an album or something. Where would you get the startup money? We're still thinking about that, Matt admitted. Hard to say. Work a few jobs, write some letters to potential investors, ask your parents. I can throw like $7,000 in on a house, and I said, we could easily get started with somewhere with 20 grand between us. Y'all got a neighborhood picked out? Why not Dexter? Matt asked. Because there's no money here, Brian answered, or else this place would be worth something. He said my mom's sitting on a nest worth next to nothing. They'll probably come around, just not in the time frame you want. Let's try some property around Holbrook and Oakland. It's got accessibility to downtown and Hamtramck. The spot's going to be built up, I said. Prepare something, get the aesthetic right. It's probably the most important part. Rent it out for half a decade, maybe a full decade, and sell it. That sounds like a long game, Matt replied. There's nothing with a quicker turnaround. This is a very quick turnaround for real estate, I replied. My dad taught me a lot about the city economy. Make a block into a place after you own a few homes, rent out a neighborhood. What about those who own the houses? Matt asked. Who owns Holbrook east of Oakland? I replied. You have more places to build than consider. Property value rises sucks for renters, but if any of those people own their houses, we'll be doing them a favor for free. Maybe, Matt replied. Maybe. Stop being such a pussy, I said. If you're going to make money, then take it. No one got paid to be nice. Everyone gets paid to do something. Even customer service is manipulation. Start a business. Draw blood. Jesus, John, I said. That's what my father showed me. I replied. Either value peace and resist as little as you can, or value security and make others bleed. I mean, like, I guess hurt could work there. Yeah, I think I need to change that to hurt, because it's cure, hurt. So yeah, that one works. And then slush, but, so yeah. Ush, That's good. That works. Cool. That was like 2 chapters. Got the link to this. We have read page 70, up to page 70, 125. So that's half of the thing. Pretty fucking cool, I'd say. I think I'm just gonna wrap it up there. I mean, otherwise it's just like gonna try to get some more stuff going on with books and all that. Probably shouldn't also have the stats up for the end of the live stream, but it's fuck. Yeah, no one's watching this shit. I don't care. This is a archive. Also, we need to get better audio quality. Working on it, but I don't know. I'm pretty proud of this book actually. I'm not gonna say like nothing's perfect. You know, it's not like you can write something as perfection, but like as far as just like some of the stuff, it's interesting to think about. Does it sound like exactly what teenagers sound like? No. I was a weird fucking teenager though. I sounded weird, so I don't know. So, yeah, we'll do more later, I guess, but halfway there, links in that, we will, I just fucked that up again, but we're done. We're done. Let's just, okay. Have a good night. It's 5 in the fucking morning. Good morning. Good morning.